Hey guys, I'm Reagan. I work in finance.
I'm Jordan. I'm a CPA.
And this is Working Late.
We don't clock out. We just keep going.
So if you are grinding through a long day or a late night, we are here to keep you company and remind you why it's all worth it. Hey guys, it's Reagan from the future here. So I think Jordan's audio was a little bit messed up for the first half of this episode, so just bear with us. Also, transparently, as you'll hear, we were not having the best days of our lives in the first half of this episode, but we tried our best to keep it light and motivational, so stick with us. The second half is much more upbeat, I promise. So Jordan, what do you have going on this week?
Honestly, so to be completely frank with the audience, so we are pre-recording these. It is mid-December. We are both kind of going through it right now, trying to deal with Q4 stuff. And yeah, I'm just hanging in there, to be completely honest. My main focus right now is my morning routines and my routines going home. So I have quite a long commute. And so those really just kind of get me in the zone, going to work, and then just help me wind down on my way home. So I start off like on my way to work, like I'll listen to like, I don't know, a current events podcast just to, stay up, out of the weeds and make sure I'm still participating in civilization whenever I'm in busy season. And then after that, usually those are like 10 to 13 minutes. And then after that, sometimes I'll go to this one podcast I really like. It's called Federal Tax Update Podcast.
Okay.
And it's great for like tax current events and stuff like that. Big fan. They only come out every other week though on Tuesdays, so I don't always listen to those, and those are like an hour long, so just depends on kind of what I'm feeling, how far behind I am on those. And then yeah, if I'm like really struggling, sometimes I'll just listen to my audiobook. So
yeah.
What does your morning routine look like?
Well, I do work from home a good majority of the time. But I wake up, so right now I'm doing 75 hard, so I get up earlier than usual these days to get one of my workouts in.
So proud.
And I'm doing it to train for my next marathon, which is at the beginning of February. So yeah, usually I wake up, I go for a walk, or I do yoga, or I go for a run. And then I'll come home and shower and then log on. So I honestly, I am so blessed that I don't have that commute anymore. I used to. And yeah, I love working from home. But yeah, transparently, this week, I know you're feeling the same way, Jordan. This week has been a week from HE double hockey sticks, transparently.
Amen.
We decided to pre-record a few episodes before launching the podcast, just so we could kind of, get things ready for when Jordan's going through it with tax busy season. And also Jordan is pregnant. So
just in case I'm having a day and don't have time or, the energy to record. We are here trying to be prepared.
For sure. This week, though, we were going to record on Tuesday. It's now Thursday.
We're doing our best.
It's been a rough Q4.
Hang in there.
You know what? We're here, though. We're showing up.
Yes. Yeah.
So, Jordan, with that being said, what do you have on your desk this week at work?
So right now I have just a mound of tax projections. So we have a ton of people who need S-Corp payrolls run, and usually we do annual payrolls for them at end of year, just so we know how the year ended up for them, and we're using accurate data instead of just best guesses. So really trying to power through those and help my staff have the information to process those payrolls. And then lots of tax planning meetings. Even if it doesn't result in a projection, people really just want to come and talk. So sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes they just want to sit and, have you be their therapist, which is okay. But, it is a super busy time. So if that's you, please be considerate of your CPA's time and feelings. So yeah, and also we also did bonuses and raises this week. So, lots of admin stuff to do.
Well, that's at least a fun one.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone was super happy and excited, but it's just a lot being the business owner and having to do your own books and, keep up with all of the employee stuff and on top of all the work you're actually doing for your clients. So just hanging in there, man. Not feeling great. Just powering through.
Yeah. Well, you look so good doing it.
Thanks.
You're doing great.
Thanks. You too, man. Hang in there.
For me, I'm a financial analyst. I work in corporate finance. And so there's just a ton of end of year stuff happening. So that's to be expected. I'm getting a little annoyed with all the random analyses that like the CFO wants to see before January 1st, and they want to like reorganize parts of the business before January 1st. And it's like, why? Why do we need to do that? I don't know. But this week in particular, so I did a slide deck, and it's like our monthly financial update, you know, how we ended the last month that we just closed. So this was my first month doing it because I have only been at my job for a few months now. So yeah, first month doing it, I was in charge of putting it together and doing all the commentary. And honestly, like it's for a meeting. The meeting was today for all of the leaders in the company. So I was, you know, I spent a lot of time on it.
How many
trying to
slides
make
were in
it,
your slide deck?
164.
Oh my gosh.
164.
I'm so proud of you.
In the meeting today, we went through about 10 of them. So anyways, but yeah, so I spent a lot of time on it.
What happens with the rest of them?
Girl, I don't know.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
They were for fun, I guess. But
I'm sorry.
anyways, I worked so hard on it and I sent it out to the VP of Ops. And then she got back to me on it. And she didn't look at it until about 5 a.m. this morning, which is when she started asking me all of her questions about it. And some of her feedback was that I should not be using the words unfavorable, worse, or down. She does not like those words. She doesn't prefer them.
What synonyms would she prefer?
Well, and it was a bad month too, transparently. So I had those words in there a lot. I ended up having to rewrite a lot of the commentary to say like, oh, this came in lower than planned or things like that. But I also was told like I should only be using one phrase or like one word per slide. So my slide might have 6 bullet points and I got to come up with 6 different ways to say that it was lower than planned, you know. That really took me out. And then, yeah, I gave it to her on Monday. The meeting was today, Thursday, and she did not look at it until this morning. So that was really...
Dude, and what time was the meeting?
9 a.m.
Oh, and you were up at 6, right?
Yeah, I logged on at 6 today so that I could like
Fix
get all of her
your
questions
mistakes
under control.
And your poor word choices.
Yeah, my poor word choices.
R.I.P.,
Anyways,
man.
week from HE double hockey sticks.
Yeah. It's almost
But you know
over.
what? We're here. Jordan, I brought us a quote today.
Oh, thank God.
To make us feel better.
Oh, bless. Let's have it.
We can't post this episode first or second. This needs to be down the line a little bit.
Yeah, when everyone else is also going through it.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. And when they've like gotten to know us in our better moods a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyways, I found us a quote. This made me feel like maybe 1% better. Maybe it'll make our listeners feel 5% better.
I hope so.
It's don't watch the clock, do what it does, keep going.
Keep going, man.
Keep going. Because, you know, right now I don't feel like I'm in the headspace to be thinking about like the payoff or anything. I'm just in the keep going phase.
Yeah. One foot in front of the other. I think is it Dave?
Yeah.
David Goggins? He's like the one who says like whenever you're trying to run or whatever, like you just have to like look at the next little crack in the sidewalk. You just have to make it to that crack and then you make it to the next one and then the next one. And then you just, then you run 3 miles, you know, like I know whenever I'm, you know, in a running phase, I'm not able to run right now, but whenever I'm running, that definitely helps me, you know, get going and put one foot in front of the other. So,
but that's where we're at right now. You know, our podcast is meant to be in solidarity with everyone else who's kind of going through it, working late, having long days, and
powering through.
You know, powering through. So that's what we're doing. But anyways, we can move into our first segment, which is working late boosts. So every episode, we're going to give you guys a boost. So like a little pick me up, you know. So if you're kind of like dragging yourself back to your desk, or if you're taking a dinner break right now and you're about to get back to it, or if it's, you know, your morning and you know you have a long day ahead of you, here's kind of like a little boost, something that helps us get through it. So it could be a song, a snack, a drink, a book, a mindset shift, things like that. So Jordan, do you have any today?
Yeah, so for me, this is more of like a late night snack. So I've already eaten dinner. It's been a little while. Like maybe I've been working, you know, the night shift, I guess you could call it, for a little bit. And I'm kind of tired. I need something. I'm going to go make some popcorn in the microwave and top it with some truffle salt. And that is the obvious choice. And yeah, it just makes me feel better, gets my mouth moving.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of wake up a little, just keep going.
I think like that's our joint shared favorite snack.
Yeah.
Because we met in college, for the listeners, Jordan and I. We were both in the business school. We met in a supply chain class.
Love that.
And I feel like that was like our thing for a while. Like we would eat popcorn with truffle salt or with truffle oil. Yeah, we used to do that all the time.
Yeah, we did it in college. We did it through COVID. Like that was our thing. It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
For my boost, like I said, I'm in the middle of 75 hard and marathon training. So I've been doing HIIT workouts
Nice.
lately. And I don't do it for a full 45 minutes. That's crazy. But I'll do like a 15 to 20 minute one because it is a great energy boost. And it really, I don't know, like I just feel so much better afterwards. And maybe do that and then like take a quick shower. And then I am refreshed and I'm ready to like get back to it.
Yeah, it depends on the night for me. Sometimes, like if I'm working, it's hard for me to go shower and get nice and relaxed and comfy and put pajamas on because then I just want to get in bed.
Okay, that's fair.
It just depends on the night, depends on the day. Okay, so next we're going to move on to our career confessional. So this might be, an embarrassing story or something that happened to you at work, maybe a strange work dynamic. It could also be like a client horror story, and we will definitely keep you anonymous. So feel free to be very vulnerable and open with us.
Yeah, send us your submissions for your career confessionals. You can send those to workinglate.pod@gmail.com. Send us some crazy ones. We'll read them on the podcast.
Yeah.
But for now, I think we each brought one. Is that right?
Yes. So I got one from my friend, and he told me that he worked with two brothers, and he didn't know they were brothers until he had been there like a full year. A full year. Like they had similar last names, but they were definitely not the same names.
That's confusing to me.
I don't know, maybe they started out with the same name, and then one of them changed their names down the road and dropped the first part of it. I don't know. Very strange dynamic, but he literally did not know. He worked very closely with these guys, and
Oh, really?
Not one time did anyone bring it up, like at all. And they kind of look like, but not enough that you'd be like, oh my gosh, they're totally brothers. And so I think he was nearing that year mark, and he heard one of them say something out of nowhere, like, oh yeah, are you going to see mom tonight? And he's like, what? And so he asked their coworker, he said, wait, are they brothers? And just like had no clue for the past year. So I thought that was a pretty good one. I know. Wild, right?
That's crazy that he worked like so close with him and he had no idea.
I also worked with these people for an internship, and I understand because I was in it, but it's just so crazy. You would think they'd be like, oh yeah, by the way, we're brothers, or, you work so closely, you would think it would come up, right?
Yeah.
But no.
Okay. So when you worked with them as an intern, did you know that they were brothers?
Not for a while. Not for a while until my friend told me, because he didn't want me to go this whole time not knowing they were brothers, but he told me, and he blew my mind because I already worked there for like maybe a month at that point. I'm already halfway in. But yeah, very, very interesting work dynamic. So
that's weird because I also used to work with brothers. And they were very obviously brothers, same last name, and they everybody knew.
Because it should be obvious, right?
Yeah.
You would think.
It was pretty, yeah. But they also, later on, their sister started working with us, too.
Really?
And, yeah, she's super nice. I liked her a lot. I remember, getting lunch with her and her being like, okay, don't worry. I'm not going to tell my brothers everything. Because they were everybody's boss, too. The brothers were.
So she had to know, she had to let everyone know she was cool. I'm not going to go and tell on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And she was cool.
That's cool. Very interesting.
Yeah, that's such an interesting dynamic because I don't know about you, I can't work with my brother.
I don't feel like I could either. I feel like he would be undermining me or making fun of me or just something.
Yeah, my brother would be pissing me off.
Yeah, why are you acting so dumb, bro? I don't know. I don't know that I could do it. I love my brother. I love you, Reagan. Don't get me wrong. He's great. I just feel like you have a...
Wait. Oh. Quick clarification. Your brother's name is Reagan.
Yes, I'm sorry. My brother's name is also Reagan. Different Reagan. Reagan girl and Reagan boy. Very different. We always have to distinguish this when I'm talking to my family or my husband. It's a whole thing. So Anyways, but like your personal life and your professional life, they're very different. You have a different persona when you go into the office and a different persona when you're, messing around, like being goofy with your sibling. Like,
yeah, I could never take my brother like seriously at work.
That would be my brother not taking me seriously at work. And yeah.
Hey guys, so clearly this is a different day. We are in different outfits. So we had a gas leak the other night, and so we had to kind of take a pause and but we're back. We're going to continue on. Thanks for bearing with us.
Yeah, so Jordan, I think we were just about to get into our career confessionals. Mm-hmm. So I do have a career confessional, kind of a coworker story to talk about. So basically, I don't know if this is relatable, but I've had a few coworkers in my life so far who are just very negative and they love to complain. And I could kind of understand when we were fresh out of college because it's kind of an adjustment, like going to work and everything. But at this point, we're a few years into it. I do feel like, the adjustment period has ended. I don't know.
Yeah, you should be past that by now.
Yeah, so I guess it's just kind of a personality trait of some people that I've worked with. But anyways, I have one that's like pretty new. And she's been pretty negative so far. She's been complaining a lot. So I think she kind of views me as like the person that she can complain to. And I never know what to do because I try to stay neutral. I don't want them to feel like, I don't know. I just want everybody to like me, really, I think is my problem.
Yeah, don't we all? Yeah, no, I get that. I've definitely been in that situation before. Like I've had a coworker specifically who is just, she was just always very negative and, but she would always try and sugarcoat it. Like, oh, I'm not judgy, but like you're sitting here being judgy type situation. And like, I ended up having to distance myself from her just because it was a lot. It was a lot. And I'm like, dude, it's not that deep. Like, you shouldn't sit here and dwell on this 5-second occurrence for like hours or days or let it bother you. Like, it's a waste of energy. Like, move on. It shouldn't be taking up that much of your time,
Yeah, I feel like I've had coworkers who they just really don't like it when they're asked to put in effort. And that's kind of just on them. But anyways, this new coworker, she was complaining to me. I was just kind of trying to stay neutral, like, oh, haha, that sucks. Like, I'm sorry you feel that way. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily feel the same. Yeah, but okay, after complaining to me, she went to my boss and told my boss that like, oh, I feel the same as her.
Okay, all right. So what is the context again? So they're complaining about their workload or
so
or a coworker or what's
this coworker was given like some assignments and they felt like they were unreasonable. And
And then the boss agreed about it?
No, so she was complaining to me that she felt like her workload was unreasonable. Okay. And she was asking me like how I was feeling, if I felt the same way. Mm-hmm. And I basically said like, oh, haha, like I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot. But
between you and the coworker.
This is just me and the coworker. I was like, yes, I feel okay, but like I'm sorry you are having a hard time.
Right.
And then she ended up talking to my boss and being like, hey, I'm like really overwhelmed. I don't like this workload. And Reagan agrees with me. She also.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So she threw you under the bus.
And then my boss brought it up with me and I was like, no, actually I'm fine. Like I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to do.
So she named you. I mean, she called you out.
Yeah, she did name me.
Dude.
So
I would be very upset.
Moving forward, what do I do in these situations? I guess I just need to start saying like, hey, I'm sorry you feel that way, but personally I don't.
Maybe you have to spell it out that clearly. I don't know.
Yeah, but I remember when I first started working,
That's so awkward.
I had two coworkers who were also like extremely negative, and they really like fed off of each other. They would literally spend an hour a day just like talking and having it. They would just complain to each other.
So they're negative. So they're being negative just in general about their workload or about their work in general. So it's not just I'm being negative about coworkers or just negative about people. It's like, hey, this job sucks.
Yes, very much so.
Okay, that's a very different level, I would say, compared to your normal just negative people.
Yeah, but I had to really distance myself from those two because I realized every time I had a conversation with them, I left feeling very negative, feeling like very bad, like, oh man, maybe they're right, this job does suck. And then I would spend a week not talking to them and I'd be like, oh wait, actually I'm completely fine. The job is fine. It's just them.
Yeah, no, I get that. I feel that way about just people in general, not even just coworkers. Like, I don't want to like, so you have your inner circle, right? And then you have kind of the next ring and the next ring. And for your inner circle, you want to have people who are going to build you up and be positive and good influences on your life. And, you know, you want to leave the conversation with something, even if it's just positive feelings and good vibes, you know. But there's just so many people in our lives that, like, you know, hey, maybe these aren't our closest people. Like, you know, we're still friends and everything, but we probably want to limit our time with X people because of that, because you don't want to have that in your life all the time and dragging you down, you know.
I feel like now we can go into our hot takes. So today we were going to talk about accounting versus finance. Jordan, obviously you're an accountant. I work in finance. Do you want to go first? Why did you choose accounting?
So I think I've talked about this a little bit previously. So I, in high school, was working at a bank in our small town where I'm from, and I just really liked it. I didn't want to go into banking per se, but I did want to do something with money. I really liked the industry, you know, kind of that realm. I felt like it was a really good fit for me. And yeah, I sat down with my dad one day at the bank, and we were just kind of talking and, you know, talking about the different career paths that I could choose. And we just started talking about that. I'm like, man, that sounds really cool. That sounds, you know, very much up my alley, and like it would be a good fit for my brain and my personality type. So I think I'm just going to go for it. You know, I at the time I didn't have, you know, in high school, I didn't really have a ton of personal finance experience. You know, you're just starting to budget and all of those things. It's very entry level. And so I didn't really even consider finance as a career path opportunity. Maybe I just wasn't as passionate about it, but I knew that accounting was going to be applicable to everyone, you know, so no matter what industry I went into, and having a business background would be applicable to, you know, anyone in any industry, and I could be able to help, you know, a lot of people, including my family, including my friends, and I really liked that. That was kind of a good thought.
Yeah, that's true. It is very, like, the accounting that you are doing specifically, you do help out your friends and family a lot. So I can see why that's appealing to you, because you're really close with your family, and you have really good relationships. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, and why'd you get into finance?
Well, so I always kind of figured I would be a business major. I don't know why. I just never really considered anything else growing up. Or maybe I, you know, for a couple of weeks, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to be a nurse. And then I'd really learn more about it and be like, never mind. Respectfully to all the nurses. That job just simply is not for me. I respect y'all so much. Personally, I'm not cut out for it.
Me either. I want to work with numbers, not blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, business, I don't know. I just always figured I would do that. But going into college, so you have to be a general business major for 2 years at A&M where we went. And then I actually went into supply chain management for some reason, which is when we met. I think I was a supply chain major at the time.
That's crazy.
I don't know why I chose that. That's kind of random. I thought it was like kind of different. It was like the smallest major in the business school. And I don't know. I just wanted to be different. Took that one class, decided it's not for me.
It was not for me.
And so then I was kind of looking around, trying to figure out, okay, it's not going to be supply chain. What is it going to be? I ended up going on a study abroad, and I chose it because I wanted to go to the destination. It was,
obviously.
I studied abroad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I studied abroad.
That's the whole reason you do one.
I agree. I studied abroad in China, and it happened to be a finance-focused study abroad. And so I think that was like my first, I had taken like the intro to finance course already. Then I did that study abroad. And then I was like, oh, actually, I think this is a good choice for me. To be honest, growing up, my dad's an accountant. He's a CPA. And growing up, he told me, I don't know, weekly, daily maybe, that I needed to go to college and be an accountant. And I think that really turned me off of it.
I totally get that. If my parents were doing that to me, I would be going the opposite way.
Yeah, I don't really like being told what to do. So
just not an option for you then.
Yeah, accounting was never an option.
Naturally go with finance. Yeah. Yeah.
Finance is like pretty close. I took 15 hours of accounting in college. So I feel like I still got that education. It's still the same skill set, basically, you know, but it's not accounting.
Yeah, it's not accounting. That's the key there. I will say, so I wasn't really struggling. Like, I didn't always know I was going to be a business major. I will say growing up, like, I was always very interested in money and the business world and how all of that worked. So I think it ended up being a really good fit, but like for the longest, like I wanted to be a vet whenever I was younger, but
Of course,
definitely, I love vets. We all need vets, but I can't do the blood. I don't want to hurt an animal. Like it's just not for me. I have a weak stomach. I'm good. And
I
then,
agree.
so I always like growing up was very into like my art classes. I loved painting and drawing and stuff like that. So I don't know. I really explored for a while doing, maybe being an art teacher or,
Oh, I could see you doing that.
dude, I think it would be so much fun. I think it would be a great fit for me. So that's kind of my backup plan. If everything goes to hell, then I'm going to be an art teacher maybe.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
yeah, a CPA turned art major or a art teacher. But I was very close whenever I was like at the decision point, like, okay, what am I going to do with my life? It was my senior year and trying to figure out, okay, I'm applying to colleges. What am I doing? It was either go the accounting route and be a CPA. So one of my cousins is a CPA, and so that also kind of made it appealing to me. I really look up to her, and she does very well, woman in business, and she just really made it seem appealing. My other option was to be an interior designer, which like I'm also very passionate about. Probably makes a little more money than an art teacher. I'm sure at the time I looked into like the difference, but yeah, my dad was like, if you have to be like creative to make your living, which to everyone who has to do that, that's great, but I feel like I'm a person who will get writer's block.
Okay, yeah.
If I have to like live
If you're
off
forced
of
to.
if I'm forced to, like I
Yeah.
feel like I will lose my passion. And that's something my dad was saying, like, you want to choose an industry, like, hey, what do I want my lifestyle to look like? Can my my daily job fund my lifestyle? That way I can spend that money to enjoy the hobbies and not make it a job.
Yeah.
Anytime he growing up was trying to make his hobby a job, he ended up like turning around and hating it. So
Interesting. Do you have any examples of that?
So he's super into like RC planes and RC cars and so he worked at a hobby shop for a little while, and it was not for him. It sucked the fun out of it, And like I totally get that. If you're around it every day, you don't want to come home and do that in your spare time. You're kind of burnt out on it.
I see.
So that was probably my final like sway into the accounting world. And he also, whenever we were talking about it, he was very much telling me like, if you have a business degree, if you do go the accounting route and one day you want to open up maybe an art shop or a studio or, a nursery, like I'm very into plants, you have the business background to support that and, kind of turn it into, yes, it is my hobby, but you can also kind of create a business out of it that way as well,
true.
if you have that base foundation. So
That's a great way to look at it.
yeah, for sure. So that's what I've got.
Well, I'm really glad you chose accounting because, first of all, we met in the business school. And second of all, I don't think Texas A&M even really has anything for art or interior design or any of that.
Nope. It was going to be
So-
Texas State,
Ooh.
which I know.
Respectfully.
And yeah, no, Texas State is great, but like from what I've heard, it's a party school, and I'm very introverted. Like I was not a partier in college. I just, I enjoyed time with you and my now husband, and kind of doing more intimate things like that instead of being at a frat house and all of that. It's not really my
we
scene.
used to like go to our local HEB and get a pizza and like watch a
So
movie.
Yeah, and that's my type of quality time. I wasn't really into that whole other scene, so it ended up working out.
I agree.
And I will say it is cool because like A&M with the accounting and finance programs, there is so much overlap on the classes you take, but we're very much like Aggies versus Longhorns. Like, oh no, I'm definitely not finance, or oh no, I'm definitely not accounting. Like there was a very clear separation if you were accounting or finance. Did you feel that way?
Yes. So my senior year, I took a class. It was an accounting class, but I took it for finance. You had to take a certain number of like finance electives, but you could do like one or two that were technically accounting classes. And so I took accounting information systems my senior year. So it was an accounting class, but it was all about like Excel and Access, and so that's why I took it.
I liked that class.
Yeah, we covered like Tableau and SAP. Anyways, I thought it would be good to learn the softwares. But it was full of accountants, and I remember like feeling defensive in that class. Like, I am not one of y'all. I am a finance major.
Yeah.
Y'all have fun with your accounting degrees, but
Yeah, and we're over here accounting people with our big egos just the same. Like, we are not finance. We are not finance.
yeah,
And it's hard to put into words, but like finance, just like my one finance class was just so hard for me. Like now
was a
being
tough
an
class.
adult, It was so hard. It was so hard. But being an adult and now like being in the real world, like I understand and I now value the things I learned in that class. But I also grew up and that was like, so my parents were both business majors and they did marketing because they didn't know what they wanted to do. And I always grew up hearing them say, like, it was just so vague. Getting out of college, I had no idea what to do because it was so vague. I wasn't specialized in anything. And it was just, not as pinpointed my next steps. And they just really struggled with that. And my mom, the one class she ever failed at A&M was finance. And so that's what I grew up hearing. So it kind of built up this negative rep in my head. And so, yeah, I ended up not failing like my mom, but that was a very tough semester because I also was in a very hard accounting class that semester. It was a bad one.
Yeah, to be fair, that finance class, all business majors had to take it. And the professor, I think she made it very unnecessarily difficult. I went to tutoring every single week for that class.
Same. But, yeah. Thanks, Tutor John.
Yeah, thank you, Tutor John, for my grade in that class.
Yeah.
Well, that's
great.
That's a good segue into the question we had. So one of our friends, I guess she had a question for you, that she spent 2 years on her CPA and like, what are the real life expectations and does the real work begin after the exams? And what do you think?
So I personally think that it was much harder whenever I was studying for the CPA exams because, like, yes, I did it while working. Some people do it before starting work, but, I pride myself in the fact that I was able to have a full-time job, a husband, a dog, a life, and get through my CPA exams. A lot of people don't recommend that or don't do that, but because I did it that way, I feel like it definitely was harder. I think it was more rewarding, but I had to be on such a strict schedule. I woke up and studied from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. roughly. Yeah. To have 2 hours of studying every single day. And just, it was a lot. It was a lot of stress. It was waiting for exam grades to come back, driving all the way, across town. Like it was an hour drive to get to the nearest testing center for me. So just everything about it was very stressful. Plus having to go to work and people asking, oh, how'd it go? And having to tell them, oh, didn't actually make it this time or, whatever it may be. Yeah. So I feel like that was the real work. Now being on the other side of it, the work that I'm finding more challenging, like I'm not even doing, the things I was doing whenever I was studying for the CPA exams. Like I'm more high level, like I'm handling client management and, dealing with employees and different situations like that. I'm less in the weeds and doing accounting stuff. So I don't think the real work starts after the CPA exams. I think that is the hardest part by far. But the soft skills are what comes after you get your CPA license, just because you are now at that next level and you are expected to handle those harder conversations and the harder situations. So that's just my opinion. Like, yes, there is more stress because of that. But I mean, passing the CPA exams was by far the hardest thing I've had to do.
Yeah, I remember that was, I mean, I didn't do it, but I could tell those were very difficult. And you also, so you only have to have 120 hours now, right? But when you took it, you still had to do 150?
Yes, so you had to have all of your hours before you could even sit for the exam. So I graduated, and then immediately started taking online courses to build up to my 150. And make sure that everything was approved by the board. And it was a whole thing. But now they're allowing you to sit for exams before you have all of your hours, which I think is much more fair and more enticing for people to come into our industry and, pursue the CPA license. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how long did all of that take you? Because it was a few years, right, that you were going through all of that?
Yeah. So I graduated August of 2020 from A&M, started online classes August of 2020, right after graduation, and I finished that summer of 2021. I started studying for the CPA exams September of 2021. I didn't get my CPA license until March of 2023. So it was a process.
Yeah, I mean, they're really hard.
Yeah, on top of having tax season to kind of navigate. That first tax season I was doing, studying for my CPA exams and stuff. I was trying really hard to study and take exams, at least in the first half of tax season. Then I took a little break during the latter half and then got right back to it in the summer. So, I mean, it was a nonstop grind. It was rough. It was very brutal.
But life is better after the exams, right?
Oh yeah, and totally worth it. And a big motivator for me is like people are like, "Oh, you're not doing that, right? Like that's awful and you can't do it." And like that right there alone will motivate me. Like I will prove you wrong. I don't care how many times I have to take these exams. I will get my CPA license and move on with my life. So,
Yeah, here you are.
yep, here I am. Definitely worth it.
Well, I think that's all we have time for today. Sorry, everyone, about the gas leak. But on the bright side, I know we were both feeling pretty down when we recorded the first half of this episode.
Yeah.
I can speak for myself. I'm feeling much more positive today
Same.
now that I got
I'm
past
feeling
those
better.
few days.
Yeah, I'm feeling much better. So hopefully we ended on a high note.
Yes, thank you for bearing with us, you guys, and we will see you next week.
Yep, have a good one.
Bye, guys.